Moslings can be pushed into the edges of the world or statues to easily catch and kill them. It's preferred to kill the Moslings first because they will fight back if MooseGoose dies, whilst they only run away before. At the end of the day, it's up to you though, and I'm going to run through the 3 most simple ways to defeat them and MooseGoose. So let's get down to preparing for the fight. It's reasonably straightforward. 2 dark swords from a shadow manipulator and under the magic tab. 1 is 5 nightmare fuel and 1 living log. These will help to get through MooseGoose and the 5 Moslings. 1 log suit, which is under the fight tab from a science machine. 8 logs and 2 rope will be needed. And finally the umbrella from Deer Clubs, which is 15 twigs, 1 eyeball and 4 bone shards, crafted from an alchemy engine and is under the dress tab. First, we're going to run through the battle by taking down the Moslings first. Unlike earlier, we're not going to push the Moslings to the edge of the world, because it doesn't actually have to be that time consuming. Moslings won't run from you if you haven't heard them, so you can catch one of the 5 straight away. Once you attack them, they'll start screaming, but will only do so near the nest. This means that if you chase them away, they must come back to start screaming again, which means you wait in between them and move from one to another. If you time it well enough, you can catch all of them. Remember the chasing technique I showed at the start of the video if this one still gives you problems though. You can also use things like a pan flute to put the Moslings to sleep as well, if you don't want to chase them. The actual fight for MooseGoose is pretty easy. You hit it 3 times and back away, rotating your weapon with a walking cane and repeating the process. After about 3 rounds of this, it will honk to knock whatever is in your hand to the floor. However, if you're already following the 3 hit then back strategy, then you'll probably just end up on the same path your weapon is going on anyway, so it won't be much of a problem, as you can just pick it up and carry on. That's all there is to it really. My only other advice here is if there's a road nearby, you can probably go for 4 hits instead of 3, and that you need to be careful not to drag MooseGoose away from the nest, otherwise the kiting pattern may become more erratic and unpredictable. Dealing with the Moslings last is more hassle, but still a challenge you're welcome to try. You can actually just put them to sleep with a pan flute or wicked sleep time stories, but I'm going to show you the proper way to deal with them. Once MooseGoose is dead, the Moslings will endlessly pursue you and attempt to spin attack you to death. The eyebrow is important here because there is a chance when they spin that they summon lightning, so be sure to be wearing it. Otherwise, you want all 5 Moslings close together and let them spin at you. Make note of which one spins off first and make sure to follow its general direction whilst trying to avoid the others. Whichever one spins first should be your priority in taking down, because it will have the biggest window to be attacked while they all charge up to spin again. Being on a pathway and using a walking cane will of course help you to dodge the attacks, since you'll be moving faster, so try and take the fight to where you want it to be. Other than that, it's just practicing. They can also get stuck on things like statues if you place them closely enough together, if that's something you want to consider to make things easier. Beefalo are also always aggressive in springs, so you could even attempt to launch the Moslings into them, but retrieving the loot may prove difficult. Of course, the real boss of spring is frog rain. If it starts frog raining, just make your way to MooseGoose, and almost every time the frogs will win. Just be aware that since the Moslings can cause bad weather, there is a chance that the frog rain might last longer if you use it against MooseGoose, so consider that before you use it. MooseGoose gives you feathers which go into an assortment of things. Weather paint, which might not seem the most useful to start with, but are very useful against some later bosses. A luxury fan, which can help you put fires out, something you may need in summer or just want to keep as an assurance in case disaster strikes, whether in the form of accidents or griefers like Willow or Red Hounds. You can also make the down feather float for ocean fishing. And finally, the sketch to make a cool statue for your base. that's all for this boss guide. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments or when I'm live on Twitch. Thanks for watching.